Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here and welcome back to another Anthem video, and today I want to talk about story. If you're looking forward to Anthem, then there's a good chance you're coming from one of two places. Either you are into looter shooters and you're interested to see how BioWare tackle this emerging genre, or you're a BioWare fan who closely follow their games for the stories that they tell. And while Anthem isn't necessarily going to deliver story in the way that you expect based on previous BioWare IP, it is still an incredibly important and integral part of the game. And in truth, something that this genre really needs. Games like these MMO-light type experiences often struggle to deliver story in impactful ways, and instead establish a ton more stuff behind the scenes, in lore, and ultimately this goes unread by the masses. So I for one am super interested to see how BioWare weave their storytelling into this space. And with that in mind, I thought today we'd speak about the story. Where does Anthem take place? What are the events that have led us to the position we're going to be in? And what do we know about the world, the factions, and the mysterious tech? So, here are the beginnings of Anthem's story. If you do enjoy this video, then a like would be super appreciated, and if this is something you'd like me to expand on as and when more story details become available, similarly let me know. Now, where to begin? Let's start with the world. The world of Anthem is vast, it's volatile, and more importantly, it's unfinished. And by unfinished, I don't mean BioWare got lazy and just made half the world so they can release the other half as DLC a year later. I mean, narratively speaking, the world is unfinished. At the time of its inception, the gods, also known as Shapers, used gigantic pieces of technology, these relics you see in-game, and they use these to create the planet that we ultimately call home, the planet that we explore. However, during this process, one day they just left, they vanished, and nobody knows why. The devices they used were left behind, this technology that is incomprehensible to any but them, and the world was left in an unfinished state. To quote executive producer Mark Durra, this is a world that is stuck in the middle of its genesis. The tools are just laying out on the workbench, turning themselves on and off, and causing the world to shift and change. See, these giant pieces of technology are littered all over the world, and they're far from dormant. They'll activate at seemingly random times, and in doing so, they often cause cataclysmic changes to the world. This results in more hostile environments, which in turn make daily life a never-ending struggle. In order to survive the unforgiving climate and the creatures and the enemies that litter the world, some humans train to become Freelancers. Those are the pilots that we, as players, will take on the role of. Freelancers pilot these giant exosuits known as javelins, and those javelins are mandatory if you hope to stand a chance of surviving outside the walls of Fort Tarsis. The first people to ever create and pilot these javelins were a group known as the Legion of Dawn, a faction of human heroes led by General Helena Tarsis, and during humanity's darkest hour, they were a guiding light and acted as protectors that paved the way for the creation of fortified human settlements. One of these settlements was Fort Tarsis, named after the general, enclosed by a megastructure known as the Wall. Inside this wall, the inhabitants are safe from the dangers outside, and only those trained and brave enough are able to venture outside. In time, the Legion of Dawn split up, some of them went on to become Freelancers, and over the years that faction grew. Freelancers are a faction of warriors responsible for safeguarding humanity, exploring the perilous lands beyond the Wall, and where possible, shutting down these ancient relics that are causing cataclysmic world changes, whilst also trying to uncover the mysteries of the world itself. This is where we, as the player, come in. At the start of the game, the Freelancers are going through some tough times. The Order isn't as respected as it once was, and should be. Despite their great history, it ultimately isn't really carrying them forward anymore, so we, as players, have something to prove. Keep in mind that we're also one of many. You're not the single hero that'll save the world. We're part of a faction of heroes, but despite that, events will naturally unfold around us, and it's up to us to set the event straight. And while the world and its ever-evolving dangers might seem like the immediate threat, the campaign will follow the emerging threat from the main enemy of the Freelancers, the Dominion. The Dominion are a militaristic, fascist human faction in the north, and they're an ancient enemy of the Freelancers. The Dominion want to use and control this Shaper tech, these relics that have been left behind, and they want to harness the power of the Anthem of Creation. Essentially that same power that the gods, the Shapers, used to craft this world. They want it for their own needs, and while there might not be a clear good and bad on this side of the battle, in the eyes of the player, they are our main adversary. Of course, there are other factions that populate the world too, and naturally we'll hear more about them in time, but Freelancers versus Dominion is a core component of the game. But outside of these battles, part of the mystery of Anthem is uncovering the answers. Where did this stuff come from? Where did the gods go? How did this all come to be? And ultimately, where are we? BioWare haven't named the planet that we're on just yet, but they have confirmed that it's definitely not Earth. Additionally, we've seen from the gameplay that there are runes listed around the world that you can collect and uncover, and these will give you more lore segments to help flesh out the story and better answer questions, so the sense of mystery really is super appealing. But for the time being, that my friends is pretty much it. For a game that clearly has story at the core, they're naturally being pretty tight about what they tell us at this stage, but this blend of inexplicable technology paired with barren landscapes and harsh environments full of mystery is definitely something I can get behind. So I'm super excited to see how this story evolves. Again, if you guys want to see more of this, then I can continue to explore aspects of the story as and when it becomes available, but for now, thank you very much for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.